Hey guys, it's Mana here, and we're back with some more Everlasting Summer. I'm not feeling so hot today, so if it seems like I'm a little out of it, it's because I am. My head hurts, my wrist hurts, I didn't sleep for crap last night, but I wanted to get this done, and so here I am. Thank goodness it wasn't too heavy, so I carried it down to Olga Dimitriev's cabin without too much effort. I feel like I visited the infirmary too often recently. But what can I do? That's how things pan out. I sighed and knocked on the door. Come in, the nurse said with a trace of sing-song accent. Good afternoon. Olga Dmitrievna has sent me to get some... I hesitated slightly. Yeast? Ah, sure. She gave me a broad smile. It's just that I don't have any, Pioneer. How so? She said that, well, I had some, but now there's none left. I didn't even bother asking why she had it in the first place. Well, don't you worry. You can have some aspirin, for example. That could be of some use to me, actually. Where do I get it, then? I sighed. Take this. She opened the drawer and pulled out some kind of bottle. I took a closer look. Ostakinsoke was a well-known brand of cheap beer in USSR. All right. What's the matter? Beer is also a fermented product. She gave me a deep gaze. Nobody will even notice. She had a point, but everything just looked so grotesque to me that I couldn't find anything to say. Are you sure? Absolutely. Okay, then. The bottle clearly wouldn't fit into the pocket of my shorts. Well, thanks, I mumbled shyly, leaving the infirmary. Well, beer certainly could replace yeast. Even my limited knowledge of chemistry and biology was enough to accept this. Mine isn't. But generally, walking around with this bottle in my hands looked like a silly idea to me, so I decided to bring it to Olga Dmitrievna's cabin and hide it there. But I had to reach it somehow without anybody noticing the beer. I hid the bottle under my shirt. And everything would be fine, but Slavia called out to me at the square. Actually, she sprang out from behind me so suddenly that I even gave a start. How's it going? What, exactly? Your search for ingredients. So you know already. Yeah, I do. Slavia smiled. It's going all right, I answered, trying not to give away my unrest. And what do you have there? She pointed at the bottle sticking out from under my shirt. Ah, this? She got me. It's nothing. I blushed with a silly giggle. It's time to go. I was almost running, leaving the square with the puzzled Slavia behind. It's great that she is one of those people who don't ask unnecessary questions. But there are people in the camp who like nothing better than to poke their noses into other people's business. Passing the pioneer's cabin, I stumbled upon Yelena. What are you hiding there? She gave me one of her cheeky looks. I thought there was no point in denying anything, so I replied in a provocative manner. It's none of your business. I'm a cipher officer bearing a message to headquarters. That's certainly a big message. I was carrying the bottle at waist length, so I was slightly embarrassed. You want some help? I'll deal with it on my own. I walked past her confidently and proceeded on my way. To my surprise, she didn't say anything, nor try to pursue me. There was nobody at Olga Dmitrievna's cabin, so I successfully managed to stuff the bottle under my bed. Once I got outside, I sighed with relief. Really, I couldn't believe that I would ever worry that much about a single bottle of beer. Like I was back in high school. It was a good thing it's safe now. Even if somebody finds it, I'll claim that it's not mine. I could always think of think up of a suitable excuse from my enormous experience. I certainly don't have experience with that. To the clubhouse. It feels like I've gone through more things today than all the previous days combined. Thus, approaching the clubhouse, I had even forgotten to think about how awkward it must be to look for sugar there. Meow. Shuriken and Electronic were enthusiastically building something. They were so busy they didn't even notice me. I looked closely. It was some kind of robot, or at least the body of one. Moreover, this robot was female and had animal ears. I didn't want to make up theories about the purpose of such a device for luminaries of camp cybernetics. Even though the design looked practically workable, I had my doubts about this robot ever being able to conquer Earth, or at least being able to do anything on its own. But they seemed to be enjoying the process more than the end result itself. And that was something we shared, even though I didn't want to admit it. On the other hand, they weren't afraid of possible failure, criticism, or jokes. They were working towards their goal without paying attention to others, who would call it unrealistic or even absurd. Oh, it looks like I'm truly comparing them to luminaries of science. Luminaries. Hey guys, I greeted them uncertainly. Oh, Simon, come in. We're always glad to see you. I was actually already inside. You know, sorry for what happened yesterday. I barely remember anything, but, well, never mind. It's okay. And what brings you to our humble abode? Electronic looked at me slyly. Sometimes I feel that he makes such a face when he knows something about the other person. Something he can use in a right moment. Sugar. I need sugar. An image from an ancient video game suddenly came into my mind, where some kind of unit like a builder or something cried out with all of its 5-pixel stature, "Gold! We need more gold!" We got it, said Electronic calmly. Why would you want it? I felt that I should explain to Shurik that they want to bake a cake for him. I shouldn't spoil the surprise. I don't know. Olga Dmitrievna told me to get some. Okay, hang on. Electronic disappeared behind the door into the next room. So why do you have sugar here? Why not in the canteen? When the food truck came last time, it was the last thing to unload. And given that our building is the closest one to the entrance, they decided to leave it here to save some effort. That's reasonable, isn't it? The door opened, revealing Electronic hauling a huge bag behind him. I really don't know what the size of the cake will be, but that was obviously too much sugar. Well, thanks, but I don't need it all. But where would we put it? Electronic gave me a surprised look. We don't have a place for it. You asked for sugar, so take it. It seems that the previous smile of his wasn't there without reason. Maybe you'll help me then? It's not that far to carry. We're busy. He pointed his hand at the robot. I gazed at Shurik. He owed me, after all. He hesitated and then looked away in shame. I sighed, took the bag, and headed to the door. Thanks anyway, I said, as parting, exerting myself. But I didn't make it too far. Just after a mere 20 meters, I had to put the bag down and have a rest. I had no idea how much it weighed, but it felt like more than 20 kilos. On the one hand, it was just 200 meters to the canteen. On the other hand, even such a distance with this payload on my shoulder, or alternately in my hands, or on my legs, or under my arm, or even on my head, looked impossible for me to cover. And as I resigned myself to move in minor sprints with prolonged pauses between them, so I could get there by night at least, I heard a voice behind me. Maybe I could help you? I saw Lena in front of me. I don't think you can. It was one of those moments when I felt painfully how dramatically I was out of shape. I can bring a handcart. A handcart. Why didn't I think of that myself? Yeah, that would be great. Wait here, I'll be right back. She smiled and ran in the direction of the square. What would I do without her? It's good that Lena isn't always that shy and can take the initiative sometimes. I started to think. She seemed quite unusual now. With no trace of shyness on her face and actually the complete opposite, smiles and confidence. The offer of help wasn't something extraordinary by itself, but getting it from Lena. A few minutes later, she came back with a smallish handcart. I put the bag down on it. Thanks. Don't mention it. She blushed and looked down. Oh, the Lena we all know is back. So I'll go then. Yeah, see you. And thank you again. I shouted after her. Sometimes I felt like are two different people living inside Lena. But the second one, confident and happy and sometimes even bold, only appears when she talks to me. Or am I making things up again? I thought that it would be better to get all the ingredients at once, so I headed to Olga Dmitrievna's cabin with the handcart. Finally, it seems like everything had been collected. I took the handcart with the sugar outside and put the sack with the flour in it, followed by the 2 baskets of strawberries that somehow fit in between. Just putting that out there. I know translations are difficult. And the beer was hidden under my shirt, just in case. The day was coming to its end, so I had to hurry, as cake itself will need some time to bake. Of course, I'd rather enjoy laying down, closing my eyes, and getting a decent sleep, but I just couldn't let Olga Dmitrievna down. Indeed, after all the trouble I'd gone to, I even felt personally responsible for the success of this event. Coming to the square, I stopped for a moment to catch my breath. It wasn't that the cart was heavy. It ran smoothly without any noticeable effort required. It was just that any physical exertion caused pain to me now, both physical and mental. I sat down on the bench and closed my eyes for a moment. What's that? I didn't really give a damn who it was, probably just a fellow pioneer girl taking an interest in an unfamiliar companion in distress. What are you talking about? I asked her tiredly. She didn't reply. Those are the ingredients for the cake. Do you like cakes? I don't know. What, you've never tried cake? I don't know. Obviously, the girl didn't get what I was talking about, but it didn't surprise me at that moment. Really wasn't interested in the conversation. I was so tired that I had zero intention of classifying external distractions and tagging them as either common or uncommon. I see. Come down to the canteen later and have a bite. Really? Really. And what are they made of? What? I asked indifferently. These. Cakes. Well, some flour, some sugar, various fillings. Now that's a strange question. Doesn't she know what cakes are made of? And you have it all here? Yeah, sort of. And sugar? And sugar. Could you lend me a little? For what? I thought it was over the top. The sudden gust of wind made me grab the cart instinctively and open my eyes. However, nobody was there. Am I daydreaming? I noticed, though, that the sugar sack was untied and a small heap of it had poured out. Could it be that she was scared by the wind and ran away? Having fixed the sack, I got up from the bench and continued on my challenging strawberry way. There wasn't a single person near the canteen. No wonder, dinner was still an hour away. I brought the handcart to the rear exit and handed the foodstuffs to the camp cook. She must have already been told what to do with them, as she gave me such an unpleasant look. I'm not sure how long it takes to bake a cake, but it seems she had to hurry. I just wanted to relax for the remaining time up until dinner. In short, I was so tired that I just sat on the steps and waited. My eyes closed themselves. I guess I got so tired throughout the day that I didn't even notice how someone came up to me until they patted me on the shoulder. Hi! Miku was standing before me. Yeah, I didn't need a mirror to imagine the expression of skepticism and annoyance on my face. Oh, excuse me, I must have interrupted you. No problem, I was just sitting here. Oh, all right then. Miku beamed with a smile. I was just coming to dinner. I thought that it's time already, and then it appeared to me that it's too early. But I decided to check in just in case. Maybe it's not me who's mistaken, but the clock is. Well, not the clock. Clocks can't be mistaken. It's just that I misread it. She seemed to be ultimately confused now and fell silent. It's still about half an hour before dinner. Oh, that's great. Then I'll sit here and wait with you, if you don't mind. Frankly speaking, I do mind. You know, I have some matters to attend to. I stood up quickly and left without saying goodbye, ignoring Miku, as I always did, while she screamed something after me. I'd be concerned if she screamed something after me. A minute later, I got to the square and sat on the bench with the firm intention of finding a quiet and safe place here to wait for dinner. I think this is the first time in the last 4.5 days when I've felt like this. I wasn't just irritated because of some insignificant details, but indeed, I was really angry. I've completely stopped caring about where I am and why I'm here. I don't care about how to get out either. What's driving me mad is that I always have to carry out some stupid task given by our camp leader, and it's always me who gets into stupid situations and sometimes even ends up looking like a clown. If all of this is some alien trick or a plot to the universal mind, they better consult with their psychiatrist. I gritted my teeth and clenched my fists. And the most annoying thing is that everything that happens seems to happen by itself somehow. I'd be happier not having to carry around bags of sugar that weigh a ton, but I had no choice at all. I mean, any other option would lead to much worse consequences than a muscle strain or hurt pride. Who are you angry with? Yolanda was standing in front of me and smiled slyly. Nobody, really. I answered absently, but my fist gave me away. Just like that? Okay, it's up to you. You better tell me, why did you run around the camp the whole day with some kind of bags? I had to, I replied reluctantly. I guess it was food. Maybe it was. Ilana was about to say something, but at that moment the bell rang, calling the pioneers for dinner. And I'm going to have to end it there, because like I said, I'm not feeling too hot today, but we'll pick this back up next week. I'm logging off now, and I hope you guys all have a good day. I'll see you guys later. Bye.